Welcome back, Holistic Soul Sisters. It's me, Mandy Rose, your relational astrologer. And in today's video, we are talking all about that full moon in Libra. Now, this full moon is the first full moon of the astrological new year. So this is very pivotal because this is our first chance to kind of clear and release. Full moons are all about culminations, ending of a cycle, letting go of some area of our life. So we're going to dive into what are we supposed to be letting go of? What is Libra energy bringing to us at the time of this full moon? We're going to talk a little bit about the sun still being in Aries and what message that is sending to us at this time. But most importantly, we're going to be talking about how this full moon is leading us up to eclipse season. Now, starting out in April on the 1st of the month, we had a new moon in Aries. New moon, new astrological year, new beginning. It happened at 11:11 degrees. That was the beginning of this chapter. At the end of April, at the end of the month, the last day on the 30th, we are also having another new moon. However, that new moon is an eclipse, and that is kicking off the brand new eclipse cycle of Scorpio and Taurus. This is an 18-month cycle that is ushering us into our destiny, into the next phase and chapter of our life. And this full moon that we are having right now in Libra is the halfway point to that new chapter, new beginning, actually getting started. So in this video, we're going to talk all about that full moon. I'm going to talk to you guys about the aspects and transits that the other planets are having at the time of this full moon, what lessons they're teaching us, and how they're helping us prepare for this eclipse season that's going to be major. And at the end of this video, like all videos I do for the new and the full moon, I will give you some ideas and rituals that you can do around the time of this full moon to maximize the energy and to bring opportunity and abundance into your life. So let's first kick off with the basics of this full moon in Libra. This full moon is happening on Saturday, April 16th at 2:55 p.m. Now that's Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you adjust for your specific time zone. And it's happening at 26 degrees of Libra. So we can see here from the chart that the moon is at 26 degrees of Libra, while the sun is still in Aries at 26 degrees of Aries. Now, because the moon is illuminated by the sun, the moon is at its peak, at its brightest in the sky, we have to look at the energy of where the moon is, and that is Libra. So the energy of Libra is the scales. It wants balance, it wants harmony, it wants justice. It's all about keeping the peace. And Libra rules our relationships. So at the time of this full moon, this is a very relationship-oriented full moon. Now remember, full moons are all about culminations, peaks, endings. The moon is so bright in the sky, we can actually see clearly in the dark. So when this has to do with relationships, right now we are seeing relationships for what they are. There is no more hidden, there's no more darkness. It is the truth, it's in its authenticity, and we are illuminated, our eyes brightly, looking at that moon in Libra. Libra being relationships. So ask yourself right now to assess your relationships in your life. Where are they at? What do they look like? Are they fulfilling you? Are they tumultuous? Is there balance? Is there harmony? Libra is the scales. It wants harmony. Now, sometimes in order for us to have harmony or to keep the peace in our relationship, we can go overboard into people pleasing. We can just do whatever it takes to make sure that the other person is happy, to make sure there's no arguments, to make sure there's no fighting, but then we sacrifice ourselves. And at this full moon, we are being asked to no longer do that because we can't go into the next chapter of our life if we continue to people please and not to put our own needs first. So that's where the sun in Aries comes in. We can see on the chart, the sun is still in Aries. Aries is the first zodiac sign. It is the energy of a toddler under the age of 7 who has no awareness for other people or other awareness for other people's emotions. A toddler under 7 only cares about its own wants and needs. This is not necessarily a bad thing. It prioritizes the self. I want food, so I'm going to cry. I want to take a nap. I want that candy, right? They're just so self-involved that they are putting their own needs and priorities first. So at the time of this full moon, the sun, where it is bright, where it is vital, is encouraging us to assess what needs of mine aren't being met. Where am I overgiving of myself to the Libra side, the opposite side of the chart, to others, to keep the peace, Libra, to keep the balance, the scales, keep the harmony of Libra. Because at this time, this full moon is illuminating that truth. illuminating that part of our life that there are relationships that we have to full moon release and let go of at this time because they are not serving our needs. They're not helping us get to our destiny, which is all about what eclipses are here for, to put us back on track with our destiny. So I'm going to dive way more into that as we talk about the other planets, but this overlying theme every year when it comes around to a full moon in Libra, the sun is always in Aries, the moon is always in Libra. So every year at this lunation, we have an opportunity to stop and pause and assess what relationships in my life need to be released. Where is the scales of harmony and balance off? Where am I people pleasing? Where are my needs not being met? Now we have to move a little bit deeper to understand the full moon in Libra happening in 2022, because there's a full moon in Libra every single year, but what makes it unique is where the other planets are, what messages they're trying to share with us to help guide us through this full moon that is unique to 2022. So let's talk about the other planets and what aspects they're making to help guide us on our journey. So the first most important aspect I see when I look at this chart is the square with Pluto. The sun and the moon are both in square to Pluto, creating what we call a T-square. We have two 90-degree angles, one to the moon and one to the sun, creating a T-square in the sky. So what does that mean? Well, remember, squares are hard aspects. They force change. It's energy coming from one angle, another energy coming from another angle that creates a hard edge, a point, and that's the direction we have to move. We have to make a decision. So squares in astrology are moments of making decision, of making change, of creating the catalyst to move us forward. And so Pluto being involved with this T-square, we have to understand Pluto's energy. Pluto is the transformer. He's the ruler of the underworld. He deals with subconscious things. He deals with ego and manipulation and control. And he's all about destroying things and rebuilding them fresh. So as we talk about a full moon in Libra, which has to do with our relationships, it has to do with our people pleasing, this is so important because Pluto's coming in, making this T-square saying, hold up, some relationships need to be transformed. There are cracks in the foundation and this is not going to sustain itself for much longer. So what relationships in your life need to be transformed? Where is ego coming into play, where one person wants to win, right? Libra is the scales. It rules the justice system. It's all about finding negotiation and harmony where each party comes out winning. But when the Pluto ego is involved, both parties don't care about the other one winning. They only care about themselves winning. So I think of this like when you look at business versus politics, right? In business, you have to have relationships of harmony. Both people have to win, right? Because if a business owner wants to sell a product, they want to sell that product for a certain amount of money. That's their win, the income that that product produces. But the customer also has to win. They have to feel like the money they're giving up is going to be returned in value of the product. So if a business owner markets something too high, he's not going to win. And if a customer can't find a product at the price point they can afford, they're not going to win. So business relationships are all about finding balance where both parties come out winning. Politics, on the other hand, isn't like that. Politics is more the Pluto, ego, and control and manipulation. In politics, somebody always wins. When there are two political parties and there's a vote, one party is the winner, the other party is the loser. One party wins in war, the other party loses. There's always a favoritism and a popular vote, and all the terms around politics are popular vote. This person won, the winner of the war. You know, it's a different energy. So this full moon in Libra is asking us in our relationships to be more business-like, where both parties get to win. And so Pluto is coming in and saying, no more of this politics in our relationships because we need transformation. Release the ego, release the need to control the other person, release the need to manipulate a circumstance to make it fit exactly what you want. Bring it back down to the rubble and ashes and start anew. A lot of times we're in relationships that are toxic or unhealthy and we get stuck in these patterns of fighting or routine, and we don't want to let go necessarily of the relationship. We want to let go of the toxicity and the patterns and the behavior and the control. So this is where Pluto comes in and says, start fresh. crush it down to rubble, start over, let go of the ego, let go of the belief systems, let go of all that, and start anew. Transform like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So I love this aspect because in order to assess our relationships and to start a new transform Pluto, we can move into the next chapter of the eclipses in a stronger way. Now, the next thing I always look at when I am looking at a full or new moon is I want to look for the ruler of that moon. This is a full moon in Libra. So who is the ruling planet of Libra? That's Venus. So we have to find Venus in the chart. And we see Venus is over here in Pisces. She loves to be in Pisces. This is such a favorable placement for her to be at to complement this full moon in Libra. Because why? Pisces is a very empathic, compassionate, emotional, forgiving zodiac sign. This energy is all about healing and releasing and cleansing and purging. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So it's all about that spirituality, that enlightenment of letting go, of shedding, ending a chapter so we can start fresh and start anew. So Venus loves this romantic, dreamy, healing, cleansing energy of Pisces. It's very sensitive. It's very empathic. It's such a beautiful place for her to be. And not only is she there, but she's there with the other amazing planets, Jupiter and Neptune. Now, just a couple days ago, on the 12th of April, we had the beautiful Jupiter and Neptune conjunction. This has been a conjunction that astrologers have been waiting for 165 years. That was the last time that this happened, and it's magical because Pisces, the rulers of Pisces, are Jupiter and Neptune. So not only has Jupiter, planet of expansion, blessing, opportunity, luck, prosperity, met up in the sky with his friend Neptune, who's all about dreaming larger than life, creating the life of our dreams, of spirituality, of creativity and artistry, and wanting to live in this rose-colored fantasy life. So you get this expansion and abundance with a dream big mentality that is powerful just in itself. But now here they are in Pisces at home, where they're comfortable, where it's watery and magical and romantic. That is beautiful energy in Pisces at the time of this full moon. But now we have Venus, the ruler of the full moon, also participating in this energy. And the best part about it is we have a fourth planet there, and that fourth planet is Mars. And Mars is all about taking action, lighting the fire under our butts and making those Neptune dreams of our highest expansion, of our highest growth, Jupiter, aligning with Venus, our values and what we find beautiful and our relationships, because Venus rules relationships. Mars is here to kick our butt in gear, to improve all those areas of our life so we can have the life of our dreams. This is such a beautiful energy at the time of this full moon. But we can't have those big dreams of Neptune. We can't have expansion and growth and prosperity and luck and opportunity and just expansion in our life, our manifestations coming to life, if we go back to that full moon in Libra, bad, toxic relationships holding us back from our next chapter, holding us back from our destiny, because we're stuck in this Pluto cycle of control and manipulation and not finding the balance of our needs versus our partner's needs. Now, when I say relationships, I don't just mean romantic. I want you to really assess all relationships in your life: business, customer, clients, friendships, your neighbors, just like anyone that's of your daily routine. What feels off? What needs to be reevaluated? What needs to be actually completely let go of? This is something that you have to assess people from the past. Like, for instance, you still follow your ex on Instagram, or you still have them as a friend on Facebook, but it was such an old chapter of your life, and maybe that relationship ended badly, or maybe it was actually toxic, but you haven't been able to just let it go. I promise you, with this eclipse season coming up and the next version of our life being here, the dreams and goals and everything we've wanted for our entire life, those big, big magical things that we have coming to us, we cannot level up to that if we hold on to the old version of us. And that includes old relationships that no longer serve. Just because it's comfortable, or I've known them a long time, or we have history or whatever, if it is not serving you currently in the direction of your dreams, it must be let go in a loving, in a Venus loving way. It's not in a Pluto manipulation control of like, you did me dirty, bye, see you later. It's I love myself so much and I want the energy to go forward towards my dreams. So therefore I am making peace with what once was so I can move into the next chapter of what will be. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. And the last major thing that I see going on in this chart at the full moon that we must pay attention to is not actually in relationship to the sun or moon, the full moon itself, but it is very important. And that is the relationship we see here between Saturn and the north and the south node. This north and the south node are the ecliptic points. That is where the eclipses are going to be occurring. North node, North Star, new direction, new chapters unfolding, the new coming into our life. That is Taurus. We can see here Taurus. The South node, where we must release, what we must let go, the closing of a chapter, the ending of a cycle, the period of our life that is done. That is in Scorpio. So North node Taurus, South node Scorpio. North node, Taurus, more pleasure, more abundance, more sensuality, more money, more resources, more stability, more self-love. Letting go of Scorpio themes. Scorpio themes are control, secrets, betrayal, subconscious belief system, things that are like baggage to us that have to be let go of. So that's where the ecliptic points are. That's what's going to be happening during the eclipses. At the time of this full moon, we can see that Saturn is having a conversation with those ecliptic points, setting us up for the eclipse that's happening in 2 weeks. Because this is a full moon, in 2 weeks we will have a new moon, and that new moon will be that eclipse happening at the north and the south node point. So what is Saturn saying at the time of this full moon? How is he having an interaction? Well, he's having a square. We're having another T-square in the sky. The first one was between the sun and the moon and Pluto, creating a T-square. And now it's the north and the south node and Saturn creating the T-square. So what does that mean? Well, remember, squares are hard energy. It's forces of change. It's where we must grow. It's where we must do something different, propel us forward, make a change in your life. And who is Saturn? Remember, Saturn is the disciplinarian. He is Lord Karma. But most importantly, he's that tough love dad saying, hey, you've got to do the right thing. You got to create a strong foundation. You got to mature. You got to level up. You got to do things and take responsibility. So north and south node, remember, north and south node are destiny, karma. Destiny north node, karma south node. So it's this, if you want the new chapter and you need to let go of the old, you need to take responsibility, Saturn. You need to mature, you need to level up. So with this T-square in the sky, Saturn is saying, hey, it is time for you to take full responsibility for your life. Saturn loves responsibility and maturity. And because this is a full moon in Libra, dealing with relationships, it is time for us to assess all relationships and take responsibility for what is and what is not working. It is not the other person's fault that they treat you a certain way, because they only know what they know and they only are willing to work on their part. It is up to you. You must take responsibility for allowing it, for participating in it, for allowing the scales of justice of Libra to be unbalanced, creating disharmony. It is your responsibility to meet your own needs, whatever that is. It is not your partner's responsibility. You must meet them first and foremost. Remember, Sun in Aries, the toddler under 7. He wants his candy. He's going to find a way to get his candy. He needs to take a nap. He's going to take a nap, right? He doesn't care if they're driving in the car, that he doesn't care if they're at the park. He doesn't care if it's at a birthday party. If the child needs a nap, it's taking a nap. So that's the energy I want you to start infusing into your life. When you are tapped out, when you are drained, do not give more. Say, I need a timeout. Like a toddler under 7, I need to take a timeout. Sun in Aries, I need to prioritize myself. I need to take care of myself, because that is the only way we are going into the eclipses, into this new season, into this new chapter, these big dreams of our life, is if you prioritize yourself and your needs. We cannot put that responsibility on someone else. Saturn is here saying at the time of this full moon that we must take responsibility for our own actions. We are in control of what we want and what we don't want. We are in control of creating the harmony and the balance in our lives. Now remember, this full moon is not saying that relationships that are not working perfectly need to be cut out. This is an opportunity right now to repair the cracks, to allow it to transform, allow that relationship to go to the next level, into a new version, into a new chapter. It's like the relationship 2.0. And if that doesn't work, if in the next 2 weeks, you can't seem to take full responsibility, you can't seem to prioritize your need, you can't seem to let go of your ego of needing to be right and not also looking at it from the other person's perspective to find balance between both of you. If that isn't happening, by the time these eclipses come up, eclipses are destiny points. They are fated events. If that person is not meant for you, it will be removed. That's what I love about eclipses is they can be scary because things are eclipsed in and things are eclipsed out, and we just have less of free will. Our hands are tied. These are things and contracts we've signed up for a long, long time ago. And sometimes we get way off track and an eclipse comes in and puts us right back on track. So that will play itself out. But you have to do your part and take responsibility. Saturn, at this time, because at this full moon, he's making a full square to the north and the south node point. So it's up to us at this time to determine how much it is our responsibility to move forward into the next chapter. Now, the last thing I want to bring up before I give you guys some rituals and activities to do around this full moon is to kind of recap the two important players that we kind of talked about. We talked about Pluto and how he's in a direct square to the new and full moon. So he is a major player right now, creating change, squares, forcing us to transform and let go of ego and manipulation, Pluto. And we talked about Venus because Venus is the ruler of this full moon, right? Because she rules Libra, so she's the ruler of this full moon. The thing that I find most interesting is those two planets are actually the same two planets that rule the eclipse cycle. Remember, the eclipses are happening in Taurus and Scorpio. The 18-month cycle is Taurus and Scorpio. The ruler of Taurus is Venus, and one of the rulers of Scorpio is Pluto. So you see the comparison here at the time of this full moon. The key players of the eclipses are having a very major impact on this full moon. So I don't think I could be more clear about what we need to do around our relationships. I realize that right now, this is a very pause moment into understanding what relationships can come with you into the next chapter and how they need to come with you into the next chapter. So this is a moment of pause and reflection for you and an opportunity to release and let go full moon in Libra. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about real quick is giving you guys some routines and rituals and activities that you can do around this full moon in Libra to maximize this energy and to set you up for success as we move into eclipse season on the 30th of April. Make sure you hit subscribe to this Holistic Soul Sister TV channel because I will be putting out that new moon eclipse video probably a week prior because it is such a monumental, pivotal energy. I'm going to be talking a lot more about it over on the Instagram, Holistic Soul Sisters. And if you catch me over on TikTok, I'll put the link in the bio. Just type in a TikTok relational astrologer. I have so much more content there breaking down how astrology can help guide you in your personal relationships. I like to talk about relational astrology, helping you have better relationships by understanding not only your chart, but also the charts of your loved ones, and also understand what's going on in the sky right now that is impacting our energy and impacting our relationships. All right, so here is the first ritual that you can do at the time of this full moon. Number one, I would go through and delete any old contacts, any old relationships, anything that cannot come with you in that next chapter. Kind of mentioned this earlier. So if you have people on your Facebook, on your Instagram, maybe you followed accounts like 7 years ago and you haven't gone through a nice clean purge. Maybe you used to watch a lot of cooking content, but now you're really not into cooking and you're more interested in home decor. It's time to release and let go of that old chapter. Maybe you used to follow a lot of fitness models, and now every time you see a fitness model, you feel bad about your body because you're not as fit as them. And maybe once you saw them as inspiring, but you've gotten a little bit older and you realize it just doesn't align with you. Let them go. Let that relationship, that follow, that like, that subscription go, because it's not the version of you that needs to go with you into the next chapter. This also applies to old relationships. If you are still Facebook friends with your ex-lovers or someone that you slept with a long time ago, or maybe an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, let it go. If they do not serve you, if it was like trauma, if there were bad parts of the relationship you still remember, energetically, it is time to let it go. So I would do some cleansing and purging of old relationships that don't serve. Number two, I would do some healing around your heart chakra. This is something I've been really diving into because I understand not only me, but a lot of my clients deal with heart chakra blocks. We put up what I call the heart wall to protect us because we've all been hurt. And we have to let down that heart wall in order to form authentic, loving, compassionate relationships with others. We cannot expect the other person to melt our heart wall. We must melt it ourselves. So there's a lot of tactics that I use. Reach out to me if you have any questions. A really good heart chakra meditation, using heart chakra essential oils. I sell a blend over at the Holistic Soul Sisters shop that you can use and rub directly on your heart or on your wrists and smell while you're listening to a heart chakra meditation. Doing a cacao ceremony is so pivotal because cacao is really good for the heart on a physiological level for high blood pressure and cholesterol, but it also helps us open up our heart energetically. So if you are local to Tampa Bay and you want to do a cacao ceremony, I am available to do those for you, or just reach out to me on Instagram at holistic.soul.sisters and we can dive more into the cacao journey. The last thing I recommend you do at the time of this full moon is so pivotal, and that is to heal any current relationship you want to carry with you into the future. If there are people in your life that you love and you've been through a roller coaster with them, that could be romantic, it could be family, it could be friends, it could be business partnerships. If you do see a lifelong future with them, or you see them coming into the next chapter after the eclipses with you, work on healing that relationship. That means releasing your ego, doing your part. Remember, Saturn taking on your responsibility to do your own healing, but also to work on that communication aspect of tapping into them, finding the compassion in your heart, finding the balance. Maybe they're always complaining that you're never around or that you work too much. Finding balance and harmony and peace that works for both of you, and it's a win-win for both of you. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I have such a passion to share this with you guys. If you like this content, please hit like, please leave me a comment, please share this video to anyone you think could benefit, especially when it comes to this relationship stuff. So many of us suffer from difficult relationships. We don't know if we should keep them, if we should end them. We don't know what would make them better. And I think understanding astrology and understanding birth charts really can help improve our relationships. So again, thank you guys so much. Make sure you hit subscribe so you're ready for that next new moon eclipse video I'll be posting within the next week. Until then, I will catch you over on the Instagram and have a happy full moon in Libra.